Screw up again now. Look. Ooh. No? Yes, there we go. So, let's think about plasma volume. He's going to do it himself. I'm going to just let him do it. He's always having a hissy fit today. Right, there we go. One of the things that we know about, I've put this in as kind of as an extra slide, just because I think it's quite pertinent at the moment. And that's the idea of plasma volume expansion. So if you think about that 55% that we saw when we did the spin down, well, how do you get plasma volume expansion? Why is it important? Well, the first thing is you can get the volume of plasma expanded if you can retain fluid. So we talked about the hydration status. So if you retain more fluid, then by definition, your hematocrit score falls. Now, there are pros and cons to that. The pro to that is that, of course, what you're doing is you are making the blood, in essence, thinner. So therefore, there is less resistance to flow. And this is what happens when we give people things like warfarin. So warfarin is a drug that's given to people who have got excessively viscous blood, so the viscosity score is high. We give them the warfarin, in essence, to allow them to retain more fluid. It allows then the blood to flow through the circulatory system with less resistance to flow. It reduces blood pressure. Okay, so if we have got blood that is moving like strawberry jam, that puts pressure on the heart. If we can reduce that down, reduce it down to something like Ribena, okay, I'm trying to think of coloured examples here. I was going to go red wine, but there we go. It allows it to flow with less resistance to flow. So fluid retention is really important. Fluid retention is also, by the way, so just a side story, is the way in which a lot of endurance athletes have got around these tests. Because the big thing they test for is your hematocrit score. So if your hematocrit score is really high, I'm going to show you some data in a moment, is really high, that's probably an indication of doping. But of course, the simple way around it is to take water retention tablets, drink a high volume of water prior to a test, your hematocrit score falls because your plasma volume has gone up. Very simple. Might look slightly bloated, but you've beaten the test. The other thing is this. Plasma volume is actually quite important to us because it can increase cardiac output. You've obviously reduced the viscosity. We've just talked about you made it thinner. But because you've now got a greater volume, because you put it up, the volume of blood that can be ejected per beat of the heart can increase. Because your stroke volume can now increase. Because you've got more blood per beat of the heart. So actually, this is fundamental as to why we don't want blood with a high viscosity. If we have a high viscosity, it means you are reducing the capability of ejecting large volumes of blood per beat of the heart. So we end up with quite a high end-diastolic volume. That is the volume of blood that's being flowing back into the ventricle because it's too thick. So if we can maintain plasma volume expansion, that is really significant for us. Okay. So why assess then? Why are we interested in hematological variables? I've kind of given an overview. So let's think about the pros and cons of doing this.